Hey, this is Alex, and I'm here in my little hut in Norway to tell you a little bit about our upcoming album, A Quiet World, which will be released, I think, in Europe on the 17th of November.
Something wild opened its eyes. So when the trunks of trees in the
And the next song on the album is called Oversold, and it's, I guess, more one of the classic songs, at least in our repertoire, so it's, again, more mid-tempo-ish. And it's very dark and very atmospheric. Maybe part is because of the meter. It's also, I think it's sixth 8 meter or seventh 8 meter, so it's a little bit more proggy. But it still has a very interesting melodic progression, which is very dark. Um, and also, I'm not quite sure what chord progression this is because I'm not the one who actually writes most of the stuff. But for me, it feels like very, very moody, so to say. And the lyrics are also a little bit darker because they're more like existential threats and the way how superstition works. For example, there's a song basically about superstition, and musically it's a little bit more keyboard driven. And at the end, of course, we had to just put in like a bridge where it all goes almost black metal, so I just scream all the time, and supported by multiple layers of guitar power, and so it all really comes together at the end. I think this is one of the songs of the album that might be a little bit of throwback to Immersion, because the structure and the way the chord progressions work is a little bit more laid back, I guess. And this album's a little bit more fast paced in comparison to Immersion and the Black Wild Yonder, but the song could have been, I guess, on one of the other albums as well. So.
standing alone against the elements.
And the eighth song on the album was called The Farthest Reach. And after such a song as Oversoul, we tried to pick up the pace again. So this is like more popish song with a very, very straightforward part. So it's very riff oriented again. So there's a very structured main theme, very like lofty, airy, so to say, verse part, and the chorus is very singable, so to say. There's no clean vocals in there. We originally had some in there, but then cut them out afterwards because we thought, okay, we don't want to overdo this part or this facet of the album, so it's not reduced to that one thing, because I know that some other artists tried that and the results were mediocre at best, I would say. And I guess that this song also has a very strong live potential. We actually played this priorly, I think like 2 times, and the fans usually reacted very positive, because it's one song that has a little bit potential because of its simpler structure, so that people can really get along and don't have to think about what's going on in the song, but rather can just go with the flow. Except maybe for one part, because like in the first and the third verse, there's some weird chord progressions, but it all just eases out into the next part. And I guess we are gonna play this live a couple more times and see how people react. And also lyric-wise, this is one of the songs that is also very positive, because I read a lot of Jack London during the phase where we wrote the album, and then some of that actually went into that song, which is about basically just going up a mountain to see the moon set upon the land in wintertime. So it's nothing very deep in that sense. It's more just something that could have also easily been an Immersion, which is a little bit more concerned with escapism and stuff. So it's just one of the more popular songs, as I said, also lyric-wise.
During a brief moment, suspended in white light.
And the last song actually is like the crown jewel of the album, I would say, because we always put the longest song at the end, like the grand opus, and this time it's not different. Although something is different, which is like the song was actually in the making for, I think, 9 years. So there was a song, like a working title we had, which was called Project Night Sky, which then became this one. And I think Eric started writing this in 2008 or 9, I'm not quite sure. And he finished it, it's I think now like about 11 minutes ago, and there were like 20,000 versions all in between. And I was always like, we gotta put this on the record, like on Immersion. It was like, nah, it's not ready yet. It still has to be refined. And then like while the owner came along, I was like, yeah, we got to put this on the record. He was still not finished, still not polished enough. And then when we decided we should record the third record now, he was like, okay, now it's done. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be one hell of a song. So it always has like a very, I think it's a Melodic scale. I'm not quite sure if it's called that way in English, at least. It's Melodische Skala, if I'm not mistaken. And the song sounds very like. I would say it's like an origin story, so it emerges from the beginning and then just progresses further and further into the story, so to say. And it starts off with a 3 minutes of instrumental, so until the first vocals are actually coming into play, it's like 3 minutes or so. So there's a very long intro with a very extended guitar solo, because I wouldn't want to have a song where we just let Eric do his thing, and people are always very amazed by his guitar skills, and so you just went nuts and wrote a like very long solo for the intro. And also there's a little Easter egg for all the movie geeks in there, musically. And from there the song just develops further and further until it erupts as we have, and then the usual like bridge, very big bridge parts, very epic, a lot of keyboards, a lot of strings, piano, and at the end also a little bit of ambient texture. My cousin actually said like this sounds a little bit like a movie soundtrack, for example. And also another comment we got about the song was like the end, where there's a little monologue and a lot of ambient. We kind of like to ease out like the albums a little bit with a longer outro, like we did with Riven on the last one. And our producer actually said, the Eike Frese said it sounds a little bit like you died and you're in a conversation with God. Maybe that's a little bit over the top, a little bit too much pathos, but I hope that this leaves a lasting impact on you emotionally, because I guess this is a very long journey, and a lot of thought actually went into this song. So I really hope that you'll enjoy this one.